and few people do it better in the world than Barcelona. So we're going to talk about them now. Like I promised, a season preview. Alex, I'm coming back to you on this one. Of course, we know your boots are closer to the ground in Madrid and for Real Madrid, but anything Barcelona does, we know Florentino Perez is keeping a close watch to see. Of course, Real Madrid have done some serious business so far this transfer window. Barcelona, they've brought in the likes of Adeyemi, they've brought in the likes of Anthony Gordon, let go the likes of Robert Lewandowski, but that was predicted. Marcus Rashford has seen his loan come to an end. So overall, what's the feeling over there in Spain about what Barcelona is doing this summer transfer window?
Yeah, I should say, by the way, I've already been getting some stick from people. We did a Real Madrid one of these the other day, and I put my neck out and said that Madrid were going to win the league, and I've been getting some abuse for it. And what I think is fair to say is that it's always easy to sort of overrate what is new and what is different, and underrate what is already established, right? What is the status quo? And so we shouldn't forget or underestimate just what an incredible job Hansi Flick has done in the last two seasons. Barcelona champions for the last two seasons, comfortably the best team in Spain in that time as well. You know, the style of football has introduced what they did in the Champions League, especially in the first season, more than the second season. But Flick's impact has been remarkable. It's been felt in the team from top to bottom. And Barcelona have been very, very good. Like I say, there was somewhat of a feeling maybe that last season was a little bit of a step back in some ways. Maybe there's always been talk about Flick, about the pros and cons of his style. It's sort of a high risk kind of style, about alleged defensive fragility. You know, we've talked on FC a lot about the high line and the pros and cons of that. I think it's a little bit overplayed. I think overall, you know, Flick's defensive system has been shown to be hugely successful in the last 2 years. So I think what he's done has been great, even if maybe last year there wasn't quite as much of a clear progression from the previous season to that one. Like I say, still by far the best team in Spain. And that's why we've seen the reaction that you mentioned from Real Madrid in terms of, you know, Jose Mourinho coming in, or the players that they have signed and are continuing to sign at the time of recording. Barcelona haven't been as active. They, you know, despite their recovery in the last couple of years, they still can't be as active as Real Madrid in the transfer market. But yeah, let's not underestimate or underrate what they've already got. Let's not forget that they've got Lamine Yamal. Let's not forget that they've got the best young player at the World Cup in Pau Kubasi. You know, you can go right through the team from top to bottom. They've got brilliant players, from the goalkeeper in Joan Garcia, who, you know, expect a big season from him after coming in last year, right the way through the team. They're sensational. And so, like I said, just because it is a little bit kind of more of the same, and Flick continues, we shouldn't forget just what he's done and just what a good team they are.
Yeah, Sam, do you agree with that then? If you're a Barca man, are you feeling still quite comfortable with what you have? Because it's so tough not to look at what Real Madrid is doing and going, oh, geez, this may not be our season. If you're just bringing the likes of, with all due respect to Anthony Gordon and, of course, Adeyemi, but there's still room to bring in more. We'll touch on that in a bit. But if you're a Barca fan, how comfortable are you feeling about the new season?
Yeah, we're like magpies, aren't we? We're always attracted to that shiny new thing. And Alex, you've talked yourself in circles there, my friend. You know, you sort of picked Real Madrid and then defended Barca's title. I agree with everything you said, apart from the bit where you picked Real Madrid for the title.
Yeah.
I also look at the squad and I say, you've got 8 World Cup winners in there. You've got the best young centre back in the world. You've got the best young right winger in the world. All right, there's a couple of holes, but there's a month left. And I think, they've usually been up against it financially with regards to the regulations, but if they're putting those kind of bids on the table for Julian Alvarez, whether or not that's successful, clearly there's some money to do something. So there may be a couple of holes in this squad, but I think they've probably got the financial capacity to do something one way or another. The question becomes exactly what it is they do if Julian Alvarez can't be signed. And now that Junior Krupi of Bournemouth has broken his metatarsal, I think, and is out for 3 or 4 months, he's going to be off the table too. So I'm desperate to know what the solution is up front, because Ferran Torres showed during the World Cup that where he might be able to score you one really crucial goal, he probably isn't a great scorer of goals based on the fact that he missed all of his chances in the previous 7 games. So yeah, there's a bit of work to do, but I'd be very comfortable with this core, and I'm comfortable enough to say that I think they're probably still title favourites in my book.